If you just got approved for weight loss surgery and you're trying to collect as much information as possible, this video is for you.
NT, you made this?
There are so many people embarking on the bariatric experience now. Love that for you. And I remember being in your shoes about 3 years ago. I stepped into my physician's office being sick and tired of my weight management issues with the health issues that I was starting to really get impacted by. And I wanted a method that was going to help me lose weight. He referred me to an obesity specialist in the clinic, and she told me about weight loss surgery. And from that moment on, I have been on this bariatric roller coaster. And if you're anything like me, you probably want to get all of the research that you can, collect all of the information, and just hear about other people's experiences, especially if you don't have anybody in your life who has went under bariatric surgery. So in this video, I'm gonna give you a couple of pieces of information that you need to know to help you on your own weight loss surgery experience. But before we get into today's video, if you've never seen my face before, hey girl, hey, my name is Janae, and I make a lot of content focused on fitness, wellness, and self-development, and helping you and I live our best healthy and active lives. So if that sounds like something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're following me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. I post a lot of different content over there. Give this video a big thumbs up and comment down below and let me know if you have weight loss surgery, if you're about to have weight loss surgery, what's your date? Let's see if we can find your surgical twin. What procedure are you getting? Let me know in the comments below. The first tip that I have for you, which is probably the most important tip, is that you can't prepare. You cannot prepare for this experience. And that is something that I had to discover for my own self. Now, I do have a bunch of videos on my own bariatric experience. I'll link the playlist in the cards above. But what I discovered was, even with all of the information I collected, you don't know how your body is going to take to bariatric surgery, no matter what surgery you have. There really is no true way to prepare for this journey. So all you can do is collect information. Know all of it, the goods and the bads. And don't apply anything until it actually is relevant to you. So as you're doing your research, most likely the first thing you're gonna come across is all of the horror stories, all of the side effects, all of the complications, or bariatric surgery didn't work for that person. Thankfully for me, my process had went by so quickly. Like, I decided to have bariatric surgery December 21st. I took the entire month of January to get my checklist complete. And by March 2nd of 2023, I was getting cut open. So I really didn't have too much time to jump on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and all of the different Facebook groups and even YouTube to like really collect information. I started to learn stuff as I went. But what I did have was my support group from my bariatric clinic. And even hearing those stories, there was like nothing that applied to me, you guys. So I was prepared for, being nauseous, for me to not be able to hit my protein or water goals, for me to not be able to keep anything down. I was prepared for all of that. I also was very delusional about what this journey and the results can happen. And well, from day one of bariatric surgery, I never threw up. I was never nauseous. I never was able to not get my food down or keep it down. I never not hit my protein goals. That is a crazy one for a lot of people to hear. I was never that person. I didn't know how it feels. Like, there's a lot of things on this journey that I did not go through myself, like the foamies. I've only had dumping syndrome one time, and I was at 7 months post-op. I barely had any side effects or complications. The only things that I were affected by was constipation, and I had reactive hypoglycemia, which has cleared up. So for me, I knew all of these things that could happen. So when it didn't happen to me, I kind of felt a little weird. It kind of felt like, am I doing something right? Am I doing something wrong? Because all of these people said that I would experience this and I didn't. And then what I discovered was my weight loss is kind of slow in comparison to other. And let me tell you right now, don't compare yourself to other people. Here's why. So when you think about it in a logical standpoint, right? If somebody is always throwing up, if somebody can't keep their food down, if somebody can't hit their protein goals, Let's give it a number. If you are only getting 500 calories in and you're going through all of this, nauseous, sick, can't keep your food down, and then you're someone like me who can keep their food down, who can hit their goals. So now you're intaking about 800 calories. There's nothing wrong with either one of them, but obviously you are intaking more calories because you are not sick. Of course your weight loss is going to be slower because they are not taking in as much as you are. It doesn't mean anyone is doing anything wrong. It's just the way your body reacts to it. And so when I started thinking about that, because I started coming across a couple of other people who was normal, is what I like to call it, after weight loss surgery, they also went through the same thing as me, kind of slower weight loss than other people. But then when you start looking at those other people, they're always sick. They're always, something that's happening to them. And so I started looking at it as a blessing in disguise. Like, my body has just reacted to the surgery in a great way. And it doesn't mean that I'm overdoing anything. It's the name of the game for me, just like it's the name of the game for them. But when you're going through it, it feels like you're doing something wrong. So I say all that to say, collect as much information as possible. Try to gain as many experiences as you can, good and bad, but don't apply anything to you until you need to. And always, 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 if you come across something and you have a question, talk about it with your bariatric surgeon. Now, here's the thing with that though. They probably never experienced the weight issues like we have. They probably didn't even have bariatric surgery. So some of the things you come across, they really just can't tell you. And it's kind of like you have to be a patient to really know. Luckily for me, my bariatric coordinator actually had weight loss surgery and had weight loss surgery at my clinic. So it was a great thing for me. I had that real life experience from someone who's a professional in the field and someone who is actually a patient. But not everybody's gonna be like me and have my circumstances. So take everything in, apply nothing until you need to. Brings me to point 2 for preparing for bariatric surgery. Listen to your own rules, you guys. Listen to your own rules. What I discovered is that there is not one bariatric clinic that is the same as another. There is not one surgeon that is the same as another. None of the surgeries are the same as the other, and not one patient is the same as the other. Within my own bariatric clinic, the differences between the surgeons, they had different rules for their patients. Some of the patients had different rules than I, because they might have a medical issue like diabetes that allows them to eat and then be on liquids, whereas I was on a 2-week full liquid diet for my surgery. You also have to remember that these bariatric surgeons, they have their own biases. They also have their own experiences, which is going to reflect their rules and their approach for their patients. And so with me sharing my experience here on social media, specifically in the bariatric surgery niche, I come across other bariatric patients and I listen to their stories as well. And so something I discovered was one of these girls that I knew, she didn't have a liquid diet at all. She just had to not consume anything from midnight the day of her surgery. But that was because she had an old school surgeon who felt like after all of the hundreds of surgeries he's performed, he felt like a liquid diet wasn't gonna do anything either way when it came to shrinking of the liver. And that was his thought process based off of his experience. A newer surgeon, however, may not have that same outlook. You have to think about the experience of your surgeon, the research and the education that they have, their actual experiences with their patients. And I know how frustrating it is to hear different things, especially when you're collecting information on the internet. But this is why I'm always going to tell you to go back to your surgeon. If you have a question, if you've discovered something, go back to your surgeon. But also, this is your life, right? Whether you choose to listen to a rule or not, you know the consequences of it. Whatever you choose to do is what you choose to do. You are grown, and nobody on this internet can kind of persuade you to do one thing or another. Which takes me to point 3. When it comes to your bariatric surgery experience, I do understand that some people are kind of like dropped off the face of the planet when it comes to their bariatric surgeon, or they're not given a lot of information. They went out of the country to get bariatric surgery. There is no follow-up process. There is no one that they can go and ask and verify. So they rely on the internet to get information. And I understand that that happens. So what I tell people as you are preparing for bariatric surgery is think about the life that you want to live after weight loss surgery. I knew for me, I wasn't gonna follow all of the rules. I knew that. I knew I was still going to consume alcohol, still gonna consume fast food, greasy food, fried food, sugary food, drink soda, use a straw. I knew that. I knew that about myself. I didn't have bariatric surgery to be the perfect bariatric patient. I did it to lose weight, period. That's it. That's it. I didn't sign up for all the extra stuff. And of course, my mindset has changed from 2022. I do live a cleaner lifestyle, which I show y'all in my vlog series, The Discipline Diaries. But going into this, I knew that. And I still don't want that for myself. So what I will say to you is at the end of the day, no one can force you to do anything. You know what the outcome could be, whether it's small or harsh. You know what it could be. We've all heard horror stories of something happening to somebody, but you still have to live your life. So think about the life that you would like to live after bariatric surgery. I knew I wasn't gonna follow the rules, but I also told myself that this was going to be my last weight loss journey. So something had to change. I also told myself that I didn't want to live a very restrictive life. So something had to change. So as you are going about your own experience, think about the life that you want to live beyond losing weight while you are living the rest of your life. And then follow creators that align with you. I might not align with you. You may not like the fact that I drink alcohol and have fast food, and that is fine. That's the life I live for myself. Don't leave me hate comments because that ain't none of your business. What I consume ain't none of your business, but you can just decide to like unfollow me. And that's what I tell people. Like, you don't have to leave somebody hate. You don't have to tell somebody that they're gonna gain all of their weight back, that they're going to do this, because at the end of the day, no matter if you feel like you don't agree with somebody's journey and their path, none of that affects you. It doesn't affect you, and you also don't have to consume that type of content if it is going to be a trigger for you. So my point is, follow creators that you see yourself in, that you would like to be at. You, for me, example, you would like to be where I'm at in a fitness level wise, at a healthy, non-toxic, sustainable life type. You know, you wanna get where I'm at. Follow people who align with you. Thought process, the life that they actually live, the success that they actually have. Follow people who inspire you to do that. You don't have to follow everybody, but follow people that you see like, yeah, I would like to trade places with you. Yeah, I would like to do that. So I'm gonna follow you because I feel like this would be me in the future. So yeah. And also realize you may come across people that are gonna be triggering to you. That's going to be very triggering to you, and that may be a detriment to your own journey. And if that is the case, that doesn't mean that you hate them or anything like that, or that you're even passing judgment, but that doesn't mean that you have to consume that type of content. So protect yourself, your mental health, and your journey. And back to my point of following your own rules, realize that not everybody is gonna have the same rules like I mentioned earlier. So you may come across somebody who's drinking carbonation, and you had a rule that you'll never be able to drink carbonation again. And you come across a person like me who has never had that rule in place. I had a straw rule that lasted for 6 months. I broke it in 2 weeks. I told my clinic I broke that in 2 weeks, and they're like, does it make you uncomfortable? Does it give you any air? Are you able to hit your liquids in? Then okay. And what I discovered from that point on was all the rules, at least that was set for me, there was wiggle room in it. There was wiggle room in it. For my clinic, there was never a definite for anything. They made us very aware of the possibilities of us following this lifestyle, but they never said a never to anything. And so when people come across my content and they try to spam me with hate, like, oh, you were supposed to do this. How do you know? You don't know my rules. I thought the purpose of bariatric surgery was to never eat this way. Says who? You don't even know my issues with food. My issues with food was never my food choices. My issues with food was over consuming food. I got 80% of my stomach removed. Took care of that problem now, didn't it? So know yourself and know your rules. Know your issues with food and the things that you have to work through, and then also know your rules for your clinic. And then again, like I mentioned earlier, you are grown. If you decide to break a rule, it's on you. Now back to being delusional about weight loss surgery. I was very delusional about the results that I would get for weight loss surgery. I thought that I would lose 100 pounds in 6 months and that I would hit my goal weight by the year mark. It has been over 2 years and I still didn't hit my original goal weight. I have adjusted things since then, but my original goal weight was 150 pounds and I still ain't never hit it. I don't think I'm ever going to, and I don't think I even want to at this point. So on my last weight loss surgery Wednesday video, I did talk about what success looks like after weight loss surgery, and as far as the numbers are concerned, what you could expect to lose. So go ahead and watch that video. I think that will help you when it comes to being delusional and managing your expectations after weight loss surgery. But just realize this is a crazy journey. This is more of a mental journey than it is a weight loss journey. That was something that I have discovered. And so if you are not prepared for that, if you are not prepared for maybe some inner works that you have to do, then maybe getting bariatric surgery right now isn't for you. But like I mentioned earlier, weight loss surgery is more of a mental journey, and I discovered that on my own bariatric surgery experience. And so I started to tap into my mental health healing, the issues that made it hard for me to maintain weight, and my issues that I had with food and all of that stuff. And I'm a person who loves to journal, right? If you know anything about writing down your feelings, the 5-minute journal, like that whole approach, I love that. But I wanted something that was specific to the bariatric experience. But I discovered there is nothing that is specific to the bariatric experience that didn't involve writing down your fitness, writing down your food. I didn't want to think about that stuff. I wanted to really dive into the mental part. And so because of that, I made my own bariatric journals. These are what they look like. There are 3. It's a series of 3. There's one for the pre-op experience. There's one for the first year experience. And then there's one for us OGs 1 year and beyond. Now, I figured the pre-op experience would be about 6 months for some people, so I made a 6-month long book. And then the other 2 journals are a year long. And the great thing about these is that you can pick all 3 of these up no matter where you are at in your bariatric experience, because the books are not the same. The journal prompts in here, none of them are the same. So you have over 700 journal prompts to help you on the mental part of this experience. If you want a sneak peek into these journals and see what they look like, I do have YouTube videos on all 3 of them, so I'll leave them in the description box below for y'all, as well as the link of where you can buy the journals at. And I'll give y'all a special discount code. It's gonna be YouTube12 for 12% off. But like I said, this journey is more of a mental journey than anything else. So I hope those journals help you out if you do end up purchasing one. Thank you so much for supporting my small business. But that was everything I wanted to share with you guys as you are preparing on your bariatric experience, on your bariatric journey. Now, if you do want some more support, I do have a Facebook group. I'll leave it in the description box below for y'all. And let me know in the comments below, what topics would you like me to talk about bariatric and weight loss surgery? I have a few, like I said, in the playlist, but I want to make this a thing, this weight loss surgery Wednesday a thing. So let me know what you want me to talk about. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon. That way you're notified every single time I post a new video. Make sure you follow me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. On TikTok, I'm always hosting lives and answering your questions in the moment. And on Instagram, I'm super active in my stories. I do have a broadcast channel. They end up knowing the tea first, so make sure you follow me over there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.